Hello friends, and welcome to this new session of the Terraforms. In this Terraform session we are going to discuss on the locals module source in the Terraform. My name is Alok Kumar and today we are going to see how the locals work in the Terraform and how the module sources can be changed from local to any of the environment what the Terraform provides us. So in the previous session what you have seen that we define a EC2 instance inside a folder. We tested it properly, and after that we also use the variable here so that anyone can override it. So in the project, suppose project A, we are using these modules, and as a source we are considering the modules where the path of that particular code exists. So it pick all the modules creations code from that particular locations and utilize it as a module in our project, where we allow the developer or any new joining in the DevOps team so that he can change the EC2 instance type accordingly. But there is a risk. We are providing it, but we have to either instruct the team to not use the higher instance type for the development environment. In the production environment it's okay, but there is a cost associated with this. Why we are using the variables, because we define the variable at one places and we can use it as several Terraform files, so that in case of any modifications that required, suppose we are using the security groups where we define the ingress and the egress and where we define the port. Okay, in that case you have to change the port at one places and all the changes will be reflected where that particular variables is used. So variable play a very good role when you have to utilize this particular piece of code several places. But here is one problem. If I use the variable inside the Terraform code and use it as a modules, then anyone can override the changes. You got my point? So there is a risk associated with it. Now the local will come as a solutions for this problem. We can define the code as a locals. We are going to see in more details in the demo sections how we can use the locals. Okay, and the module sources as well, because we are defining here in the local environment. We can pick this particular code from any places, from the GitHub as well. We can use the already existing, because EC2 is also provided by the AWS provide the modules to use it, but we can modify it or we can create our EC2 modules to use in our project as per our requirement. Okay, so in the demo sections we are going to use how we can use the locals and how we can use the modules sources in the Terraform. So this is my AWS console. I am connected with to the Mumbai region. Okay, and we don't have any instance currently running in the environment. Okay, so now you already familiar with this all code. If you refer my previous videos, we have EC2 instance here where we define the Terraform and the provider Mumbai region. Okay, and we are creating the EC2 instance. Okay, the AMI is hard coded, but for the instance type we are using the variables where we have the default T2 micro. Okay, and then we are utilizing it in a project. From modules, the source we are referring the path, and the instance type we are hard coded here and this will override what is the default value set in the inside the modules. So inside the module we have T2 micro as a default, but we in the project we are overriding it. So if you see the Terraform plan, it will display the T2 medium as an instance type. So one instance to add here, if you go a little up, you will find that the instance type that it's going to create is of T2 medium. So this is the problem and we have to fix it. So what we are going to do in the code where we are defining the EC2 instance, here we are going to use the locals. Okay, and instance type we are going to use as T2 micro. Okay, and instead of using the variable here, or just use the locals. Okay, so it will not pick the value of the instance type from the variable, it will pick it from the locals. Okay, now save it. Now currently we are in the project A. Okay, and in the project A we are using the modules, but we are doing the hard coded value. Now this time this T2 medium will not override it because we are using more locals, not variables when in the modules. Okay, so let's see the plan again. Now this time it will come as a T2 micro. So you have the idea now. When we use the locals, that value will not override by the person who is using it. Okay, so this is one thing. Now if you apply it, then the instance of T2 micro will be created, not T2 medium. Okay, let me do it. Terraform apply. It will ask for the confirmation after showing the plan again. Yes, we already seen the plan, so we don't have any objections. So it's starting creating the EC2 in a AWS environment for inside the Mumbai region, because we selected region as a AP South 1. Now going to the AWS console, here we are going to refresh it. Soon you will find an instance of T2 micro appeared, not T2 medium, because this time we use the locals. Okay, so this part is clear. Now let me destroy it. Okay, meanwhile we are going to understand the module sources. So we discussed the local path, but there are several places where you can put a snippet of code and consider it as a modules. You can put it in the GitHub also, Bitbucket also. You can put it inside the S3 bucket also. So these are the, you can say, the module resources. The resource argument in the module block tells Terraform where to find the source code. So you have to define all the time, we have to provide the path. Either it is a Git path or it is the S3 bucket path. You have to provide a complete path so that the code can be fetched in your local to perform the actions. Okay, Terraform uses this during the module installation step of Terraform init. Whenever you run that init command, like in this case, when we executed the init command, let me give the confirmation to destroy. When you perform the Terraform init command, it will fetch all the informations inside the modules. So you can see that where we have the directory also, where we have to keep the folder. So all the information it will fetch. If you are using the Git, then it will fetch all the codes and we are going to perform it. Okay, so what we did, we are using our GitHub. So here you can find we are trying to replicate the same scenario, but this time the code is not in my local, it is in the GitHub, and from there we have to pull the code. So about the Bitbucket or GitHub, let me scroll a little bit to see the code what we are going to use it. So here you can find that we have to use git https and then the complete path. So let me show you what we have in the main branch. We have actually two branch and we are going to perform both of them, okay, one by one, so that you have the clear understanding how to utilize it. Okay, so this is my GitHub repo and here we have a ec2tf file. Let me open it. Okay, you will find the same piece of code. You can see that the instance type T2 micro is hard coded, what we seen in the previous session when we started discussing on the Terraform modules. The same piece of code we are going to consider it as a module, but the code is currently on the GitHub. Okay, so this type of code we have to write here, but where is the path? So if you go to the demo folder, from here you can pick the path. So let me copy it and we have to follow same format as a source. First because we are taking the code from the git, that's why the git 2 times colon and then the path. Okay, so let me do it. Before that, to avoid any confusion, inside the modules I am going to delete all the things. I will keep the ec2 folder, but there is nothing. I am going to delete it, so you don't have any confusion on it. Okay, let me delete the project. Under the project, delete the Terraform folder also, the lock and the state backup, all the things. So you have the cleanup of the code to have a better understanding. So now you can see the modules code is deleted because we are going to use the modules that is kept on the GitHub. Okay, so delete all these things. Now it's completely clean up. Remove the instance type as well. Okay, now here we have to change it as per the instruction provided in the documentations. We have to use git and 2 times colon. So we are going to write it git and 2 times colon and whatever the path we copied. Okay, so this is our GitHub source terraform demo.git. Okay, and the code that is currently in the GitHub is using this one. This one is using the hard coded value for the instance type. So we are not going to provide. It will automatically take the value from the modules, okay, and create the instance. So now what we are going to do, we are going to initialize it. Let's say meet, and then we are going to use the Terraform init. Terraform init. So it will initialize. So now you can see it's downloading from where? From GitHub, because we provided the path. Now if you look into the folder structure, here we have the Terraform modules. So here you have the complete structure from where it's picking the modules, and here we have the code, actual code, and it fetched from the GitHub, so that we can use it in our Terraform code. So all the code pulled from the GitHub. Okay, now we are going to use Terraform plan. So it will show you that a new instance will be created of T2 micro. the modules code is not in my local environment. So here you can see the T2 micro. So if I apply it, then it will create the EC2 instance, but the code is not in my local, it pulled from the GitHub. Okay, Terraform apply. So currently we don't have any instance in the environment, we already cleaned up. So soon you will find a new instance of T2 micro is created, pulling the code from the GitHub, because I deleted all the local code in front of you. Okay, so soon you will find, okay, it asking for the confirmations. So within 1 or 2 seconds it will, you can find the instance is active. So new instance of T2 micro gets created. Now the questions comes that if we have the different branches and we have to pull it from other branches, in that case you have the different sections for the selecting a revision. So you have to use the question mark and then the ref value. If you see in my case, if you go to the Terraform demo, we have 2 branches here. One is main, where we have only one Terraform file in which all the things are hard coded. We have version 2 as well, in which we are using the variables same that we performed previously. Okay, so now we are using variables. Now let me destroy the instance. So let me modify the code as well accordingly to use the version. So you can see that we are using the variables. This is the V1 branch. Now we are going to modify the code. So you can find that instance get terminated. After that we are going to use the version here. So after the question mark, put ref. After the question mark, put ref. Okay, and then V1, same as in the documents. It have the version 1.2.0, but we have only V1. This is the branch in my case. Okay, so I changed the piece of code accordingly, and we have to utilize it, otherwise the T2 micro will be the default one again. So what we are going to write, instance type and it will be T2 medium. T2 dot medium. Let's save it and now see the plan. Again we are going to initialize it, because we changed the branch. So if we write Terraform plan, it will create a problem here because we changed the branch. So we have to again initialize it so that it will pull all the code from the GitHub for the branch V1. So it again in initializing for the different branch and pull all the code from the GitHub accordingly. So now we are going to see the plan. We are not going to apply it because when we have a plan, we can understand it in a better way. So now the T2 medium will be the instance type, because we pulled the code from the GitHub, but we changed it, override it, because it's using as a variable there. If the local is utilized there, then we can't override it. So that's all for this particular lecture. So this is the last video for the Terraform series. We will come again with the Terraform advanced playlist. Okay, So hope you like this video and like this series on the Terraforms. I created 24 videos on the Terraform. So give a like, and if you didn't subscribe my channel, please do subscribe it. Share this channel link with your friends. This always motivate me. And if you have any comments, please put it in the comment section. Whenever I have time, I can reply it. Thanks for watching this session. Have a nice day.